One big topic I want to talk about is credit cards. Credit cards are super, super valuable, especially when you're using it for redeeming it for points. For instance, if you're looking for traveling purposes or you're looking to redeem that for gift cards or whatever the case may be. My philosophy in life is really that you want to take any single dollar that you have and actually get some type of reward for it. You want to maximize the value that you get back. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with credit cards. So I'm going to do a tutorial on what Stockvu is and how we kind of help to show you which credit card you should pick. It is quite tough to understand which credit card to pick because there are so many that are listed out. But however, I'm going to break it down into different buckets, so such as like hotel cards, airline cards, and just regular cards that actually are one, people use the most, and two, like what could you actually get value on based on who you are. I'm going to walk you through an Excel sheet of actually something that I created to help you gauge this, to one, see like all of the different benefits that the credit card provides, and then two, to actually help you see like, all right, does this credit card actually match what I do? So come over to the laptop. I'm going to show you and walk you through this Excel sheet so you can see exactly, does this card match you or does it match your lifestyle, and exactly how much value you could get from it. I'm going to show you it through a quantitative method as well too. So before I walk you through the Excel sheet and everything, I'm going to show you what our newsletter is, so you can get any updates on basically any of the new credit card deals that come out or any new sign-up bonuses. Some people may refer to it as sub, etc. I'm going to teach you all the terminology and all of this stuff that kind of comes with maximizing your value when you're looking for travel deals and whatnot. You're going to find it all within this newsletter. All right, so hopping into credit card Excel sheet, which shows you all of the different valuations for the credit cards. So I listed out basically this sheet in order to show you no-brainers. No-brainers essentially are matching what the annual value of the credit card is. So for instance, if a credit card is, let's just say $500, do you actually get $500 in value? So if it is above that $500 of like annual fee, like the amount of value that you get, you should definitely go ahead and get that credit card to sign up for it, because obviously you're actually getting paid a little bit more money because of the difference, right? The value minus the annual fee. So coming over to the summary, as mentioned before, we have different cards such as bank cards, airline cards, and hotel cards. If there are any different cards that are missing from this list, or you want me to go into a different set of cards, just go ahead and comment below and I will 100% do an analysis on any one of the credit cards. Feel free to drop it in. All right, so the first one I want to talk about is the Venture X, right? That's the first one on my list, and it's also pretty popular as well too. I always see things on TikTok and Instagram, etc. about it. So I just kind of wanted to talk about why I think this card is valuable, and I'm actually going to show you exactly how much value I get from it. So overall, I get about that much value, but I'm just going to delete this and walk you through why these are made up to be that valuation. So on the far left side, you'll see the benefits, right? This comes directly from the provider's website. So Capital One has their Venture X page, and literally taken all of their information of what this card actually is going to provide you. And I've put some general notes in there as well too, which kind of describes what exactly that benefit is, right? And then on the right hand side is really two things. One, the annual fee, how much you're going to pay for the credit card. Above here is the credit card's website. So we actually take you over to Stockvu's website, which will show you all of the benefits, again, listed on the webpage, but it also takes you over to see if you are interested in applying to our credit card. It will take you to the credit card's website so you can actually apply through there as well too. So we're making it super, super easy for you. So on the left-hand side, really this gray area is all of the information that Stockvu will provide you based on the valuation that we believe in our methodology. But on the right hand side, we also want to have like a conversation and make it dynamic, so you can also put in your valuation and see if you're like if the benefits actually align to what you are, right? Because you could be, you know, a single guy or a single gal, or you could be a family person. You could be a frequent flyer, or you can be someone that takes road trips. If you're someone that takes road trips, you probably won't be interested in airline credit cards. It just kind of won't coincide with your lifestyle. So different perspectives for different valuations, vice versa, right? Because not everyone is going to fill the same shoes, so therefore the same valuations can't fill the same shoes. So the first benefit I want to talk about is the sign-up bonus. The sign-up bonus is really, really cool. And if you spend about $4,000 within the first 3 months of having a credit card, you're going to get 75,000 bonus points, which is super, super valuable. This is not unique to the credit card industry. Other credit card providers do this: American Express, Chase, etc. Everyone kind of has their own flavor, and they kind of mix it up. But for the most part, there's like a minimum spend that you gotta reach before you actually get that bonus. So one thing I just quickly want to talk about, come over to this side, it will show you how much those miles are actually worth. And if you're not familiar on how to get this valuation, I actually will make a different video for you on how that valuation is actually formulated. But for this purpose, 75,000 miles will equal 750 bucks. So that's how this valuation goes over here, 750 bucks. For the next benefit, 300 bucks towards travel. So essentially, like every year, you're going to get a reoccurring 300 bucks, but you got to use that within the portal, right? So that's one restriction that is there, but again, it's a perk, right? You get 300 bucks for spend on a hotel, 300 bucks to spend on flight, etc. I'm going to discount this a little bit because there is some work you need to do. You can't just freely go and book it on, like, let's just say a Google Flights or like Expedia, right? So there's some like restrictions. So I want to discount that a little bit. Every year, you're going to get a 10,000 bonus mile anniversary, which is super, super helpful. Going back to the points calculator, 10,000 miles will actually equal out 100 bucks. So just go ahead and think that you're going to receive 100 bucks of value every year on the anniversary that you booked the card or actually applied and were credited the card. Pun intended. The next benefit is you're going to get 10 times miles on hotels and rental cars. For me, this is great, but again, you have to book it through Capital One, so it's a bit restrictive. I'm going to just assume that I'm going to spend 1,000 bucks for either hotels or rental cars within a given year. So 10 times 1,000 bucks will get me 10,000 miles. I'm going to go ahead and put 100 bucks there. The next perk is the 5 times miles on flights. Very similar, right? It's a bit restrictive, but again, it's a perk that you're going to get, right? 5 times points on anything is pretty valuable, right? You could also redeem these points for additional things. You don't necessarily need to book it for travel. You could book it for redeeming gift cards, right? Or you could book it for just literally cash back. The cash back is going to have a different valuation. You could see this in my next video as well too, that the valuation for redemptions on travel and gift cards is a lot different than redemptions on cash. Cash is actually one of the worst redemptions that you can have. Cash is great, but again, if you're not getting maximal value for it, you shouldn't be making those moves. And I'll also show you exactly why that is as well too. All right, so 5 times miles on flights. If I'm going to spend 1,000 bucks on flights per year, just call it 5,000, right? 5,000 points. So back to my calculator over here, 5,000 miles will equal 50 bucks. So that's how I got that. 2 times miles on anything else, which is super, super valuable because anything else is quite literally anything else. Think of your grocery stores or think of gas, etc. I'm definitely going to spend a lot of money on these other categories. I'm just going to put something very modest and put 15,000 bucks for the year. That's not even including like things like gym membership and things of that sort, of subscriptions and whatnot. So go over to my calculator. It's going to be 15,000 points. Oh, actually, again, because you get 2 times the points, it's actually going to be 30,000 points. So 30,000 points will actually equal out 300 bucks, which is super sweet to get back, right? 300 bucks. We already see in that one, the annual fee is 395 bucks, and that the this 2x on really any everyday purchases is pretty close to this annual fee. And if you add up, these buckets here, you're already exceeding what the annual fee is. So I'm seeing a lot of the different value. I'm seeing a lot of value from this credit card. This was looking like a no-brainer immediately. So next benefit is the Capital One access to lounges. This is super, super valuable, not only because you're getting access to the lounges, but because you could bring two guests. It's not unique for credit card providers to provide, lounge access. Most do, but to have additional guests to join you as well too, at free of charge, is super, super valuable because other providers such as like an American Express, they require a certain spend, and I believe that spend is actually $75,000. So imagine you actually had to spend $75,000 in order to bring two additional guests, such as like for instance your spouse or and a child, right? That's is just it's so much money to spend. Those perks are really for like your small business owners or your you know I don't know, just high earners, someone that has an absolutely crazy lifestyle. That's not who I am. That's pretty much not 99% of the people. So, long story short, you get value here. I'm going to value this at, I'm just going to call it modest $100. This is super low in my opinion because when you go to the lounge, if you're familiar with the lounge, one, you have access to pretty much buffet style of everything, right? Buffet style to soft drinks, buffet style to food, buffet style to alcoholic beverages. It's really it's a really neat perk. Wi-Fi, probably take a nap. You could go over, take a shower. Most of them, you can also have comfortable seat and plug in your phone. It's watch TV. It's a pretty useful perk, especially if you're not the kind to want to go over to your, I don't know, $50 for a burger, french fries, and a soft drink. It's just, and a tip, obviously. It's just super expensive to be at the airport and actually get some type of tasty food and be comfortable. So this actually adds up. If you're doing this, I don't know, if you're flying like 2, 3 times a year, I would say, I would add $100 for every year. Excuse me, every single flight that you have within a year. I'm just going to do a modest one flight. But the one drawback is that the Capital One lounges are very limited. There's only 7, and they're mainly based in either New York or they're based in Washington as well too. That's not really ideal for someone that isn't based in that area because you wouldn't really have access to it. However, on the opposite end, the benefit below it provides you Priority Pass. Priority Pass is super popular in the States, but it's very, very popular outside of the States. Internationally, I want to say that the lounges are much higher quality there than in the United States. In the United States, I want to say that the quality has deteriorated significantly. In some cases, there actually isn't any buffet style things, as I mentioned before, such as like food and appetizers and soft drinks and alcoholic beverages. Sometimes it's actually just seating, which isn't super, super valuable to me. With said though, if you're traveling, once, twice a year, I would value that around $50 per flight. I'm going to do a modest one flight per annum and just call it $50. Premier Hotel Collection, me personally, I don't necessarily value this much because I'm not going to go to the most luxurious hotels to get the credit. I'm actually going to value this at $0. The next perk is going to be the authorized user. Authorized user is super helpful because one, it's free, right? So it's basically like giving someone else access to your card and then allowing them to get the same kind of benefits that you're receiving, right? So if you have lounge access, now the authorized user has lounge access, they actually have access to the lounge as well too. So now you get kind of double the amount of perks. This is super valuable because if you have an authorized user, such as your spouse, remember you get two guests, right? So you get two guests, and then that spouse will get two guests. So now you have four guests. So not only do you get to invite yourself, so now you have three, meaning yourself and two guests, and that person has three, meaning themselves and two guests. So you have 6 people you could bring into a lounge. That's super valuable. And let's just say like everyone gets one soft drink and one burger and french fries. At minimum that's going to be at least, I don't know, $30 per person. So if that is, let's just say, $30 times 6, that's $180. So I'm just going to put that value there, and let's just say that you go once a year. The TSA credit for global entry or TSA pre-check is super valuable. You get to skip the line. You don't necessarily like wait too long. I mean, sometimes actually, I'm not gonna like lie. There's going to be a lot of hold up. I've seen recently that TSA lines are actually pretty long relative to general lines, and the wait times have seemed a little bit similar. But for the most part, like if you're going international and you're coming back into the United States, or vice versa, global entry is actually available in other countries as well too. So you can bypass a whole bunch of security checks, and you don't necessarily need to take off your belt and jacket and shoes as well too, which speeds up the process and it makes it just so much easier. I'm going to value this at the full $100 because I actually get a whole bunch of value from not doing all the excess things that the general line typically makes you do, right? The next benefit is complimentary cell phone and insurance. You have a $800 credit that you can get from a $50 deductible. That is huge. Even though that I know that most folks have, their own insurance through their current provider, this is still a benefit that I think you should leverage if you're going to upgrade, for instance, an iPhone, because we all know iPhones after 2 years, they're probably going to need to be replaced or some type of refurbishment or equipment, whatever the case may be. $800 credit, I would take that any single day for a $50 deductible. I'm not going to value this super, super high, but I'm going to put in a value. Even if you did replace this, I'm just going to say that the $100, you replace it twice in 1 year, or you replace yourselves and your child's phone that you bought on this specific credit card. And the last one I'm going to see is the Hertz President's Club. This is super helpful because you get to have, upgrades, right? So once you go and you can book probably like the lowest tier and get there, arrive, and if there's, availability, you'll get a much higher end car. That's super helpful. Me personally, though, I don't do rental cars. I personally don't like to rent cars. I would much rather fly and take an Uber just to like reduce my liability. I don't like finding parking and whatnot when I go to different places that I'm not familiar with. Or for me, I actually have a fear of going to different countries and driving over there because I just don't know the laws and whatnot. Even though I'm from New York and we have like some of the most scary drivers in probably the entire world, I'm still really skeptical about driving anywhere that I don't know the roads. So I'm actually going to value this at no money. But the point is I wanted to take you through a methodology of how we actually come up with valuations, and basically of all of the things that we went through just now, it is about $1,200 of value. Now, I'm going to just minus this right here. I'm going to minus the $750 sign up bonus because you're not going to get it reoccurring. You're only going to get it one time. And I'll also make another video about why you should book certain cards first so you can make sure that you can maximize the sign up bonuses that you get. That's going to be in a separate video. But the point is that this $530 valuation is much, much higher than the annual fee. So in my case, this is a no-brainer. This is a credit card that I would get. If you don't agree with the methodology and the valuations that I put onto the Capital One Venture X, this is what this green column is for. You can go ahead and put in your valuations. If you wanted to just value everything at a discounted price, it will allow you to see what that price is. So for instance, if you only value it at $50 and it actually only equaled $50 for all of the different benefits, this is not a no-brainer for you, right? Because this number, the total value, should always exceed the annual value. Because if the annual value or annual fee is higher, then this is costing you money. This isn't being less of a headache for you. So the last thing I just want to point out is that you can go over to our website. Once you click the link is available for each one of the tabs, each one of the credit cards in there. We have a summary of all of the different benefits that you viewed in there as well within the Excel. And then what you can do is you can either go back to the credit card listing page, which will take you to all of the credit cards that we have, or you could come back over to the website and you could just click the apply now button if you're super interested and you thought this was a no-brainer card. And there you go. If you found this helpful, give me a like and a comment below. Helpful. And then also subscribe to the channel. Let me know if there's any other credit cards that you would like me to value out for you guys. Happy to do so.